Okay, I believe I've done another video about the Halo series maybe last year. I'm almost positive I did. Maybe I didn't, but anyway, I'm going to do one now. I started Halo season 2 and I try not to make my videos rage videos, but I will say I am quite annoyed at the series. And I think there is legitimate reasons as a fan to be annoyed at the direction that this series is going. I don't know what is on the minds of the Halo showrunners. I don't know what they thought they were getting out of this. I don't know exactly what they were going for, but it doesn't seem like they were going for pleasing fans at all. That doesn't seem to be what the complete direction they were going for. Now, I take an issue with Hollywood's adaptation and approach to making many Hollywood adaptations of things that geek love, whether it be comic books, video games, what have you. I think there's a problem in Hollywood that doesn't seem to be addressed within Hollywood, although it is addressed outside of Hollywood by places like Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, um, who else I can think of? Star Wars Theory. These are channels that respect the lore, respect the original content. Some of them create content in a different way than me, but I think their arguments are 100% valid. There are issues in Hollywood that it's almost like we all see this car getting ready to crash and everybody is acting as though everything is okay. We all see something devastating getting ready to happen, and that is happening, and everybody looks away. Now, as I've said, I try not to make my content about rage, and this is not about rage, but it's about a legitimate critique of a beloved franchise. Halo has already, within the confines of the books and the games, already have a series of complex and diverse characters across many spectrums. There's really no need to introduce characters that we are unfamiliar with to the Halo franchise. I don't think there's a necessity for that. Why it's done, why the powers that be feel that this is a necessity to introduce us to characters that weren't in the books, weren't in the games, don't really matter, and to shape the Halo franchise in a way that doesn't make sense. Well, for context on that, I want to go to this article, or I want to read some excerpts from this article by The Gamer. And I think this article, which was written actually in 2022, points out a glaring issue with this Halo TV series. And probably, arguably, in my humble opinion, one of the biggest issues in Hollywood when it comes to adaptations of a gaming franchise, comic book, whatever, into a show. It says the Halo showrunner is making the same old video game movie mistake. And this article was written by Eric Schweitzer in March 22nd of 2022 for thegamer.com. Now, the opening statement to me is like the biggest glaring flaw with these Hollywood adaptations. And it's an insult to fans. I mean, it really is. It says last week, Halo showrunner Steve Kane told Variety that the team behind the upcoming live action series was or wasn't interested in sticking to the source material. If I love a franchise, it's because I love the source material. If you want to create something else, just create something new. I don't understand this. I don't understand why this needs to be done. And again, this is not to rage at the creators. I get it. You want to do something different, but I don't think this is the way. Okay, so the article goes on to say, we didn't look at the game. We didn't talk about the game, he said, much to the ire of Halo fans around the world. We talked about the characters and the world, so I never felt limited by it being a game. To me, this is a bad approach, and this is evidence that this is probably someone that should not be in charge of creating an adaptation of something that is in some other form, right? Like, this is a book. If a person says, yo, I'm not going to read the book at all, I'm just going to create a story with the same character names, but that has nothing to do with the book, that doesn't make sense. In no universe would this approach to making something based on something else make any sense at all. And this is the liberty that Hollywood takes with many things. And this is where I think things go wrong. This is where a problem comes in. This is where you create something based on things that are beloved by people, but yet when they see this thing, they're like, wait, this is not in any way, shape, or form what I want to see from Halo. Now, the biggest problem that a lot of Halo fans have, and rightfully so, I believe there's good reason to have this issue, is Master Chief constantly removing his helmet. Now, there seems to be this belief that you cannot convey emotion, that you cannot convey interest for Master Chief without removing his helmet. I have proof to the contrary, and I'll use actually the opening scene to season 2. Now, this is going to be a spoiler for the opening of season 2. They're on this planet, can't even remember the name of the planet now, and the comms array has gone down. Now, if you know anything about the Halo books, the Fall of Reach video game, which is another game I played, which I love, you'll understand why that matters, right? The Covenant, they come to a planet, they destroy the comms array, and then they wreak havoc, and you're unable to signal to other people for help. You're unable to call to arms people that will come to your aid because you have no signal going out. And, communications across the planet are, problematic because you took out the comms array. Okay, so with that said, in the opening scenes, Master Chief has his helmet on. Master Chief is conveying his thoughts and emotions without ever removing the helmet. I'm not even mad that they didn't use the original voice actor for Master Chief. I'm okay with that. That's something I can concede to, even though if you kept the helmet on, there wouldn't be a need to use a different voice actor. This is what I believe they could have done in the scenes, because Master Chief does remove his helmet in the game, but you, the player, never see that. The camera is always at some angle where you can't see his face when it's removed. And I don't remember, I'll have to go through all of the cutscenes again. I don't remember if the helmet is ever removed while he's around someone else. I'm sure it is at some point. Point being is, opening scene of season 2, episode 1, I am in it. Master Chief has his helmet on. He feels like Master Chief from the game. He's running, he's leaping, he's using a grappling hook, he's fighting elites. It's an epic fight, and it feels awesome. Then they get back to the things that don't make sense for Halo. The helmet comes off. There's a scene with him in the shower. I get it. It's a show. You have to convey certain things in a show that you didn't necessarily have in the games. But you don't have to veer that far from the game. And this is the thing that drives me nuts. I'm going to be honest with you. It really drives me nuts. And I do not understand. So I'm going to read some more of this article from the gamer. See what else it has to say. I started with the article because I wanted to get the statements from the showrunner to get you to understand the frustration for a person to say we're not gonna look at the games at all. Like this is not what we're concerned with. Yo, that is insanely problematic. It says, alarming as this might sound coming from a creative lead, Kane isn't the only video game adapter who has blatantly disregarded the source material. From Resident Evil to Sonic the Hedgehog, video game movies have always bastardized the games they're based on, for better or worse. The reason for this is simple. Though misguided, why make a show for the fans when you can make a show for everyone? And here's the issue with that. The issue with that is you have a dedicated core fan group. If you please those fans, you have free good PR. If the Halo show was good, was really good, you would have fans across the internet. You'd have some of the biggest channels like Nerdrotic, channels like Geeks and Gamers, other channels that I can't think of right now. Those are just the two, biggest channels I can think of. You would have these fan channels who love these things that would be singing the praises of these shows. That PR would go a long way and more people would come on. There's shows that I have watched that are really good, that stick close to source material, that I have recommended to other people. Those other people who are not necessarily fans of whatever this thing is have watched these shows and told other people, and so on and so forth. This is a big deal. This is not a nothing burger. And to me, this is a huge problem in Hollywood. Look, it is the fans that thrust this thing to the forefront, that even got it to the point where it can be adapted into a live action anything. Why would you then abandon those fans that have driven this franchise to this point? To me, that speaks of the arrogance of some of these creators. They arrogantly believe that they can do no wrong and people will just accept whatever they throw out there. And man, this is just not true. In that same Variety interview, Paramount Plus Chief Programming Officer says this explicitly. This is a swing for a broad audience. She says, here's the problem. When you're swinging for an audience that's not guaranteed, assuming that they're going to give you any airtime. This premise right here rolls on the assumption that these people who typically don't really or never paid attention to this franchise are going to drive the franchise to the forefront. Yo, to me, that is an insanely misguided, arrogant, and false assumption. And we're seeing the fruits of that. I haven't seen glowing reviews of Halo, and I would love to tell you that this series is great. I would say, as a fan of Halo, I'll watch it just because I'm a fan of Halo. But would I recommend this to someone who has never played the game? No, I'm gonna be honest with you. If a person was going into this thinking, hey, should I watch Halo? This is what I would tell them. Play Halo 1 through 3, play Fall of Reach, play some of the other games. I'm not necessarily interested in some of the other games. I'd say play them. Halo Wars, good game. But I would say play those and read the books. Avoid the show. The show will disappoint, because what'll happen is those books and those games will give you a robust view of what made fans love this thing in the first place. And the show is a mere facade of what that is. The show to me, and this is just my humble opinion. Again, I'm not trying to make this rage content, but this show is really bad. The show is like there is Halo is being worn. There's a Halo skin suit being worn by Hollywood. That inside is not Master Chief. That's what this feels like. So this article, he goes on to say, my hope is this expands what the Paramount Plus brand can mean. So the concern is more Paramount Plus and less the Halo franchise. And again, this is an article from 2022. This kind of set the stage and showing you where the Halo TV show is going to go. And again, I cannot recommend this show. As a Halo fan, I'm going to be honest, I'm watching it to see where it's going to go. But ultimately, this is not a show that I can recommend to anyone, because this would be a false representation of what Halo actually is. The people who love Halo, love the stoicism of the Master Chief. Love the little expressions you see when he tilts his head or looks a certain way with his Mjolnir armor on and that helmet, completely secured. Love the different one-liners Master Chief has. He doesn't have to say much, but his actions speak volumes. And this, in my humble opinion, is the problem. And part of I do hate to say it, but I think some of these creatives in Hollywood are very pompous. They think they have figured everything out. They know better than you, the fans. And how dare you have any kind of differing opinion than them on anything? You who have bought the materials, who have driven this thing into the forefront as it is. It's the fans that made Halo such a great franchise. When Microsoft originally launched Halo on the original Xbox, if the fans didn't make this thing great, it would not be around today. Halo became the de facto mascot of Microsoft's Xbox. And to see this thing in a live action adaptation turn into what it is, no disrespect to the creators. I get it. I get what you wanted to do. But what you wanted to do is a bastardization of what fans actually wanted to see. And I don't think this is going to make it very far. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's a large group of people who will not play the games or read the books that will love this series. What are your thoughts?